Nikola Jokic is somehow having the best offensive season since Michael Jordan in '88. I can't remember if I was even born yet. Also, the Lakers have spent 3 weeks absolutely stinking up the joint. However, it's not time to panic yet. All right, folks, we are past the quarter mark of the NBA season. And yes, I'm ready to unveil my MVP ballot. I'm only doing 3 right now because to me, there's 3 guys playing at a level and then there's an extreme drop off. My MVP candidate so far this season, number 1, and I'm a bit surprised by this, and it's Nikola Jokic. And what I mean by that, Jokic's performance this season has been in a tier by itself. Right now, depending on where you look at, Cleaning the Glass, NBA.com, wherever, he's got about a 123 offensive rating when he's on the court. On a night-to-night basis, he's just carrying these guys on his shoulder. What he's doing individually as a scorer, his playmaking for his teammates, again, not the greatest cast of bandmates we've ever seen, especially when you consider the worst Jamal Murray season in ages offensively. He's leading the league in rebounding. He's threatening Trae Young to lead the league in assists. He's in top 3, 4, 5, I guess, in minutes. Again, this is just unheard stuff. And the reason why I say it's not a slam dunk, the Nuggets right now are on pace to win something like 46 games, which traditionally MVP winners don't play on teams that are that relatively middling. The last time we did this was Russell Westbrook when he did the triple-double thing, and it was like, narrative-wise, KD had just left, and it was all the Russ stayed, #Russ stayed, all this other crap. And he had a beautiful narrative thrust behind his MVP candidacy. And, through the years, if people have looked back, like Westbrook's MVP win is one that a lot of people point to as like, maybe collectively the voters might have dropped the ball on this because, some people kind of discredit the efficiency and stat chasing, whatever. Whereas I just don't think that's the case with Jokic right now. Like, this guy is doing everything he possibly can to win basketball games for Denver. And we know that this contradicts his own basketball philosophy. He doesn't want to be monopolizing possessions. He doesn't want to be dropping 50 points against the Wizards in a loss. Like, he would much rather be playing a more egalitarian style of play. But yeah, outside of what the team success, which traditionally has knocked people in terms of, the pillars of their MVP candidacy, Jokic is just, he might buck that trend, y'all. Number 2 on my MVP ballot, man, and I gotta say, it's not just what he's doing on the court. I just do love the narrative build of what Jason Tatum is doing with the Celtics right now. For him to come into this season to be just an absolute force on offense, it's not just what he's doing scoring-wise. The three-point shot is all the way back to the point where he's averaging a career high, damn near 11 three-pointers a game. This is on catch and shoot. A lot of them are unassisted, off the dribble, most difficult three-point shots in the game. But most impressive to me offensively is the burden he shouldered on playmaking for other teammates, being the driving force in their 5-out scheme where he's the one putting his head down, getting to the rack. Anytime any kind of help comes, he's spraying it out to shooters. He has just perfectly calibrated his attacks now. When he is taking 2-pointers, he's not shooting them at 19, 20 feet. He's getting closer, bullying guys, getting his body into guys. He's worked really hard on becoming just a stronger overall player. Lastly, I would say his defense, again, I think his defense is still underrated. Obviously, as a perimeter matchup, he is a nightmare for anybody when you combine his foot speed with his length, his defensive IQ in terms of being at the right place at the right time, but also what he does on defense kind of unlocks the Celtics' entire defensive scheme because, like in the finals, this guy will guard centers and not get completely bullied. And also, every now and again, he's giving you weak side rim protection, adding to the playmaking burden, adding to the narrative that came into the season where, a lot of people were just like, look, Tatum didn't deliver in the Olympics and he played bad and blah, 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 blah. I think this is the first year ever Jason Tatum has a legitimate claim to be MVP, and it's really cool to see. And the third guy on this list, who to my mind is actually in the same tier as Jason Tatum, if some people would want to choose him over Tatum, I'd have nothing to say about it. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. OKC currently leads the league by a decent amount in point differential. They've got the best record in the West. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is sort of the engine that moves that offense, both in his one-on-one shot creation, and he's just a beautiful facilitator. Another thing is he's played a big chunk of this season without Hartenstein, without Chet Holmgren, so some of their key cogs haven't been around, and they're dominating and killing people. Shai's just been incredible, and again, I think him and Tatum is on the same tier. And again, on defense, this guy is nobody's idea of a slouch, man. He guards his position extremely well. He'll switch on the guys at times, and yeah, if it wasn't for Jokic, again, the best offensive seasons is probably Michael Jordan in 1988. I would say Shai and Tatum are right there. But yeah, shouts to Shai and the just incredible season that he's having. All right, folks, facts or feelings? It's time for the Lakers to go into panic mode. That's feelings. Look, they started off the season 10-4, Dalton Connect looking like the next Larry Bird out here. AD having the best season of his career by far, or at least since the last time he played in New Orleans, where he was like a featured threat. JJ was getting all the pats on the ass, and the offense was playing at a different level. 4-11 since, just looks like a completely different team. And part of it is injury. I think losing Austin Reeves is huge. Just this idea that, this team and how it's constructed is like they could just miss out on Austin Reeves, who's just basically taken over a lot of the playmaking duties from LeBron this year, that he could go down and they just wouldn't skip a beat. I thought was ridiculous. And also, pay attention to the schedule. The early schedule was a little soft, but they were beating up on these bad teams, which I think you have to do. The schedule has gotten much better recently, and you couple that with missing some guys. You couple that with some close losses, a buzzer beater damn near by Trae Young, a close loss to the Magic, and, you get what you get here. But to me, look, I don't think the Lakers are at the top of the West. I don't care what anybody says. Even when they was 10-4, they were still one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. Obviously, none of this has changed during the losing streak. It's just the offense is completely fallen off of a cliff. LeBron, obviously he is as old as he's ever been. All of us are. But he looks it. He looks as old as he's ever looked in his career. And obviously that's going to have an impact. I think when they get their guys back, the schedule open back up, I think these things will be better on balance. However, I don't think we should be looking for the Lakers to somehow finish at a 10-4 pace. That's just not the kind of team that this is. The kind of roster that, most importantly, that's not the kind of roster that has been built. They don't boast a bunch of two-way guys, meaning guys that are competent offensive and defensive players. Even when they're rolling, they are playing Austin Reeves, who at times can be a complete liability on defense. Same with D'Lo. On certain nights, LeBron be a goddamn liability on defense, right? And so, and a lot of their defensive guys aren't threats on offense. And so they're not the most well-balanced roster or deepest roster. And so as much as I love you guys, Laker fans, don't even think about it. Y'all not going to be at the top of the West. But do we expect them to play at the level of, basically a lottery team across the way? No, I think these guys should see themselves as fighting for the six at best, 7th seed out West. LeBron and AD playing much better, and that just being the thing. But the last thing I'll say about this, for all you Laker fans who wanted to turn Darvin Ham into the worst coach since, I don't know, Byron Scott, y'all was wrong. The lineup shuffling has continued under JJ Redick. JJ Redick's trying to find a cohesive, balanced unit in the same way that Darvin Ham was, but I just noticed that people aren't calling him, the world's biggest idiot for doing so. And that's just the last thing I say about that. I'm done with Darvin Ham for the rest of the season. It was just something that stuck in my craw. This idea that the roster that the Lakers assembled again last year, and they bring back the same exact roster and we see the same exact problems, I think we should acknowledge that my man Darvin Ham wasn't a complete idiot. All right, folks, that's our show for today. Make sure you subscribe to the Ringers YouTube page, all 8 of them that we have now. Ringer Movies, Ringer TV, Bill Simmons, Ringer NBA. Make sure you subscribe to all of them. Hit the notification bell and hit the like on this thing. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.